Hey guys, I've got a new Vanguard deck video for today, and this is going to be on Almajester Astroea Unica. This is a new Dark States deck that was released in BT09 and has gotten further support in BT10. It's um it's a middle road deck in my opinion, but it's still super fun. Yeah, it's still super fun. Um, yeah, let's get started. Of course, we're gonna start off with the grade 0 Almajester Pipis Mulachi, I think is the name. It's the names are kind of weird. That's the starter. It's again the basic Overdress starter. I don't think I have to go over what it does. The grade 1 is Almajester Schwartzspada. When this unit is rode upon by Almajester Turondina, Soul Charge 2, and if a critical trigger was Soul Charged, you draw a card. So that effect does kind of give us a hint on what the deck wants to do. You want to have critical triggers in your soul. So far, that's pretty much all we know at the moment, but we'll see as we go further through the deck. And then it has a rearguard effect, which we will actually use. This rearguard effect is once per turn. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, you bind a trigger unit from your soul, and this unit gets an extra 10k power until the end of turn. Very nice. So again, kind of gives you a hint on what the deck wants to do. You want to have trigger units in your soul, which is usually the opposite of what you want. That is it for the grade 1. Almajester Turondina. This is the grade 2 of the ride line. When this unit is rode upon by a unit with Astroea in its card name, choose an Almajester Schwartzspada in your soul. Call that card and this card to your rear guards. Very nice. So you can get these two out onto the field. And again, since this will be on the field, we'll go over the rear guard effect as well. If your Vanguard with Almajester in its card, if you have a Vanguard with Almajester in its card name, Counterblast 1, choose 2 trigger units from your drop, put them into your soul, and then this unit gets an extra 5,000 power until the end of turn. Pretty good. That is it. And well, it's actually not the main grade 3 of the deck, but it's the one you use in the ride line. This is Almajester Astroea Unica. It has the first effect of, when a trigger unit is soul blasted for the cost of this unit's ability, choose one of your units and then gets an extra 5,000 power until the end of turn. Very nice. And that will pair off perfectly with its next effect. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, Soul Blast 3, and bind all critical triggers Soul Blasted for this cost, and perform all of the following according to the number of critical triggers in your bind zone. Now, this effect does carry over. You don't have to Soul Blast and bind the critical triggers every time. Once you have up to the 3 critical triggers that you need to activate all the effects in your bind zone, you don't have to worry about whatever you Soul Blast from there on out. The first effect that you get, if one or more critical triggers are binded, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and you retire it. 2 or more, this unit gets an extra critical until the end of that battle. And 3 or more, this unit gets an extra drive until the end of that battle. Very nice. And a pretty solid grade 3 in my opinion for the deck. However, the main grade 3 for this deck is the new upgraded version, Xeno Almajester Astroea Bico masks. Now, masks are kind of similar of what the reverse units from the older series were. as they're corrupted versions of other grade 3 units. So this is the masked version of Astroea. This unit can only be ridden from a grade 3 with Astroea in its name. And then its first effect is remove a card with Astroea with a different card name from this unit from your hand, soul, or drop. And remove isn't the same as binding. Remove is completely eliminating it from the game. In fact, that's kind of how they described it in the anime. Essentially, you completely get rid of this card entirely. So essentially, the mask unit is obliterating its former self from existence. Then, if you do that, you choose one of your opponent's rear guards, you retire it, and this unit gets an extra drive until the end of the turn. Pretty good effect. And then its main effect being, when this unit attacks, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 3, bind all critical triggers Soul Blasted by this effect, choose one of your rear guards, stand it, and this unit get an extra 5,000 power until the end of turn for every 2 critical triggers in your bind zone. This is the main grade 3 for the deck. However, both Astroas, in my opinion, are fairly decent. And you don't have to get to the mask version to do alright with this deck. However, you obviously want to use the upgraded version. And that is it for Astroea masks. Of course, only 2 copies this time of the original Astroea. We already went over what she does, so we'll move on from here. Now, the card you use to access the mask units. Mask of Hydrogum. You can play this from your hand to activate this effect. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Choose up to 1 unit card with Dragon Tree or Mask in its card name from among them. Reveal it and put it into your hand, and then you shuffle your deck. And it has another effect in the drop zone. If you have a grade 3 Vanguard without Mask in its card name, you reveal a grade 3 with Mask in its card name from your hand. Ride the card revealed for the cost as stand. If you rode, put this card into your soul. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, and you did not Persona Ride this turn, you activate Persona Ride by doing this. Pretty nice. And this card is the most expensive card in set 10, obviously, because it's going to be so important going forward, especially with these mask decks. The main grade 2 for the Astroea deck is Kit's Peak Griffin. When this unit is placed on Rearguard Circle, if you have a Vanguard with Almagester in its name, choose 2 trigger units from your drop and put them into your soul. And then it has the other effect of Rearguard and Guardian Circle. If your bind zone has a critical trigger, this unit gets an extra 5,000 power and 5,000 shield. Very nice. It's a pretty good grade 2 for the deck, in my opinion, and probably the best one. We've got another Dragon Tree card. This is Dragon Tree Wretch Skull Kemda. This card's effect is, when this unit is placed on Rearguard Circle, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, choose one of your rearguards without any Dragon Tree markers. Of course, that is this. And put a Dragon Tree marker on it. Search your deck for up to 1 Mask of Hydrogum, reveal it, and put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. Let's go over what the Dragon Tree markers do again, as I did go over it in my Griffogilla deck. But let's just go over it again to remind everyone. This is the Dragon Tree marker. It represents a Dragon Tree marker, obviously, and can't be put in the deck. You have that at the side as a token marker. That's where all of your tokens and markers go. During your turn, if you have a Vanguard with Dragon Tree or Mask in its card name, all units on this circle get an extra 5,000 power. Very nice. That's it for Skull Kemda. The next card is Buricon Manticore. This card's pretty simple. During your turn, if your bind zone has 2 or more trigger units, this unit gets an extra 1,000 power. Pretty nice. Nice and simple. It's a good attacker. The final grade 2 for the deck is Steam Hunter Zuka Quip, I think how you say it. It has the effect of Rearguard and Guardian Circle if your Vanguard is Xeno Almagester Biko Masks. Xeno Almagester Astroea Biko Masks. This unit gets an extra 5,000 power and 5,000 shield. Kind of the same as the second effect of Kit's Peak Griffin. But I like that it kind of provides the deck more shield value and more power, which is nice. Probably one of the best grade 2s released for dark, not grade 2, grade 1s released for dark states. At least I really like it. This is Twin Marvel Dragon. In my opinion, I think he's going to become a very good generic for dark states. This has the rearguard effect of when you soul blast 3 or more cards at the same time for the cost of your Vanguard's ability. So maybe not that generic, but if you soul blast a lot, such as well with Astroea and especially with Dredgewald, which we'll get to eventually, this is a great card for that. Anyway, we'll go with the effect again. When you soul blast 3 or more cards at the same time for the cost of your Vanguard's ability, look at the top card of your deck, put it at the top of your deck or into the soul. And this unit gets an extra 2,000 power until the end of turn. So you can look at the top card of your deck. You can choose to either put it into your soul or leave it where it is. And then this unit gets an extra 2,000 power. You'll typically do this to check to see if you have a trigger on top, which is what you'll want. However, if it's something you don't necessarily need at that moment, such as a grade 1 or 2 or 3 that you don't need, then you can put it into your soul for you to use for effects. A pretty nice card, as I said. And if it works with your Dark States deck, I definitely recommend putting it in. The final grade 1 that will be on your field, at least, is Irem Capricornus. This is, of course, a grade 1. When this unit boosts, if you have a Vanguard with Almagester in its card name, choose up to 1 trigger unit from your hand or drop, put it into your soul. If you put a trigger unit from your hand, you draw a card. Pretty nice. Although he's not all that important, really, but hey, if you need the triggers in your soul, he'll get the job done for you. Of course, to round out the grade 1s, we've got, for the Dark States Perfect Guards, these actually being pretty important for this deck now. We've got 4 of the non-effect crits, 4 of the effect crits. Now, if there wasn't a 8 limit cap on the critical triggers, the draws, or the fronts, we'd of course be running probably 3 more crits in this deck if we could. But we're stuck with what we have to go with. Of course, we've got the non-effect heals. I've gone over why I'm not really a fan of the effect heals. So, yeah. 3 of the effect draws, you could maybe put in fronts if you want, but the draw power in this deck is nice. And the final card of the deck is the Dark States Overtrigger. Now, I don't think we've seen this guy in a while, so I'll go over what he does. Of course, as an Overtrigger, he gives one of your units 100 million power until the end of the turn. And if it's revealed, you remove it and draw a card. And it has the for the Dark States exclusive effect, it has, you get, during your turn, all of your Vanguards gets an extra 1,000 power and a critical until the end of the fight. As I've said in probably my older decks that feature Dark States, this is probably the one overtrigger you want to get early in the game. As, again, you'll get the extra 1,000 power and the extra crit for the entire fight. So essentially, off your first grade 1 turn, you want to see this guy immediately. At least, that's how I like to do, how I'd want to see him. But, of course, it's an overtrigger. You only have one of it. Who knows how it will go. You'll most likely probably soul charge it. Because you're in Dark States, and that's how it works. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll probably be going over Gandiva next, which is the most hyped deck from set 10. And then, once I finally get a build I'm happy with for Nirvana from this set, I'll go over that. And then, last but not least, I'll probably go over my currently favorite deck for Overdress. Yes, it even took the top spot from Nirvana. I'll go over Drajuled last. And I hope you enjoyed this video.